This fella's been having trouble with his eye. He's been having trouble seeing out of it for a few months. So he goes to the doctors. He said, "Doc, got a problem with my eye. Can you have a look at it?" So the doctor looks through his endoscope. He said, "You've got a very bad deterioration there." He said, "That eye's not going to last much longer." He said, "I think I'm going to have to send you up to a surgeon who's probably going to recommend having a transplant." Fucking hell, yeah, that's a bit severe. He said, "Well, that's what I suggest." So he goes to the hospital, sees the surgeon. Surgeon agrees with the doctor. He says, "You're going to have it out." He said, "What we'll do, we'll give you a transplant, but in the meantime, we'll take the bad eye out to save it getting any worse and fit you a glass eye." He said, "You might have to keep it 3, 4, 6 months." He said, "But eventually, we'll get a transplant donor and do it for you." It's like, "Oh, fucking hell." He said, "Okay," he said, "Whatever." So he goes in, have his operation, fits a glass eye. After a couple of weeks, he goes back to work, and he works in this big pub on the main road. And he's locking up one night, and there's a great big crash over the road, and this guy's crashed through the trees, upside down in a ditch. Little sports car, wheel spinning, dust everywhere. He thinks, "Fucking hell, I better go and have a look." Crawls down into the ditch, bloke's hanging upside down in his seatbelt, stone dead. So the bloke has a look and he thinks, "Here, this guy's got the same colour eyes as me." He says, "I know, I'll go and get a knife and nick one of his eyes." So he goes back to the pub, gets the knife, runs back across the road, takes the guy's eye out. Left one, same as his one. Takes his glass eye out, puts it in the dead body, wraps the good eye in ice, takes it up to hospital the next day. He said, "Doc," he said, "I've found an eye. I found a donor." He said, "But don't ask any questions." So the surgeon says, "Well, okay, all right." He said, "It's perfectly usable. We'll do the operation in the morning." So they put the good eye in. It heals up, and about 4 or 5 weeks, he's back at work. So he goes back, and his mate says to him, "Here," he said, "did you hear about that crash over the road a couple of weeks back, 3 or 4 weeks ago?" So the bloke said, No, didn't hear anything about that." So the guy says, "Yeah," he says, "a bit of a miracle apparently." He said, "Why is that then?" He said, "Well, the bloke drove 20 odd miles and crashed here," he said, "and he had 2 glass eyes." Yeah, I know, I can't tell jokes.